Oh, no, no, no.
Well, a sort of a functional D-Day is here for really, well, let's just call it B-Day or S-Day for Shelf Day. The fall reset of shelves is in effect, and using recent data, Bud Light is set to lose millions of feet of maybe tens of thousands of feet of retail shelf. Essentially, inside of grocers, what they do is there's only a limited number of amount of space, right? If you have one little spot, not only is your product harder to find, but they can only stock like maybe 3, 4, 5 cases. So you're never going to really sell a ton, even if you have a strong following. If you get more feet of retail space, they can have 200 cases on the shelf and a floor stack of another 100 cases, okay? And just naturally, you're going to sell more because not everyone is loyal to a brand. Well, now Bud Light sees the writing on the wall and is offering distributors and more $150 million just to not lose the space that they're not already using, because they know if they give it up to Yuengling or other competitors, they will never get it back. And this is an interesting story. This is why companies shouldn't get political. My company, Coffee Brand Coffee, which, by the way, just rolled out our Christmas hot cocoa, the peppermint hot cocoa. Our cocos are real cacao. They dissolve really, really well in milk. They are velvety. They are delicious, highbrow cocos that aren't your normal like sugar icicle to the brain. Promo code FALLCOCO will save you 10%. By the way, also off the entire website, which means our new strawberries and cream, our blueberry cobbler K-Cups, our fall flavored coffees, butterscotch toffee, pumpkin pie, and of course, spiked jack-o'-lantern, butterscotch toffee. All of this 10% off. Please consider supporting your apolitical coffee company, and link in the description below. Bud Light still, by the way, cannot tweet. This is a tweet from 6:45 yesterday. Don't know who needs to hear this, but set your lineup, referring to fantasy football. Again, it's October. This happened in March. Most of the replies, just take a 20-year break, wait for the next generation to drink. Hopefully they won't believe the stories about you. Who are you talking to? The only thing Bud Light sets up is their makeup. Only Bud Light drinkers still do fantasy. I don't like Speaker Light, and I certainly don't like Bud Light. How are sales going? I've noticed the bars around me have taken Bud Light off their taps. Of course, pictures of Dylan. They're, of course, hiding, as usual, tons of replies. Of course, that one's a little spicier. Using the bundle of sticks words will probably get you hidden, or at least, a shadow banned on Twitter. Just came here for the hidden comments. I mean, they're so desperate for interaction, they will reply to anybody who says anything positive. One person in this entire thread said something positive and they replied to them. That's how the level of desperation that they have. Now they're dangling $150 million in incentives to distributors to keep the beer in stock because they want to replace it with stuff that actually sells. See, they sell the beer at a discounted price to distributors. They make money when they then sell that beer to stores. If stores aren't buying that beer and instead are buying Yuengling, distributors who also have limited space will want to bring in products that they can actually make money on. Anheuser-Busch is dangling big incentives to distributors to keep its beer on store shelves following Bud Light's disastrous tie-up with Dylan Mulvaney, brand destroyer. Even as retailers begin reassigning the shelf space they allocate to popular beers, according to reports. The embattled brewer, whose Bud Light brand has been slammed with boycotts over an April 1st marketing tie-up, is offering $150 million in relief this year alone, according to Beer Marketers Insights. That includes reimbursements to distributors for certain freight and fuel surcharges and giving them an extra 5 days to pay their bills to the brewery. according to the trade publication. I imagine that for those who are having some cash flow concerns, that would help. The reason is, if you used to sell, let's say you used to spend $100,000 buying Bud Light direct as a distributor, and you could turn over that inventory in 14 days. And Bud Light used to say, hey, you got to pay us every 14 days for this product. Well, if it's taking longer to sell, you're going to have cash flow problems, which is why they're doing that. Anheuser-Busch is also boosting the financial aid package to distributors that began in June, according to Beer Business Daily. Those relief programs are going to include sales incentive payments, and they've been extended through the spring, according to the report. Well, this certainly would seem to fly in the face of, would directly contradict this idea that, their sales have returned, people are, coming back and buying the product. It doesn't look like that. What's more is the largest brewer in the world told distributors hit by the Bud Light fiasco that it's establishing a, quote, market share recovery initiative beginning in the second half of 2024 through the end of next year, according to a memo from Anheuser-Busch's chief commercial officer, Kyle Norrington, the trade publication reported. There were no further details about the, quote, market share recovery initiatives, but the timing is significant as most retailers revamp their shelf space in the spring when they look at the last 12 months of sales and determine which products are hot and deserve more space and which ones will lose space. Anheuser-Busch did not immediately respond to comment. However, Bud Light has lost more than 20% of its customers since April, according to industry experts. Other breweries are jockeying for more space at retailers, including Molson Coors, Constellation Brands, the owner of Corona Modelo Especial, and the oldest brewery in the United States, Yuengling & Son, as the Post reported. Molson Coors, which also owns Miller Lite, gained significant amounts of shelf space at dozens of major U.S. retailers, CEO Gavin Hattersley told investors in a recent earnings call. We just want our fair share of the Bud Light debacle. 80-year-old Yuengling owner, the brewery's chief executive, the chief executive Yuengling, told the Post as other brewers boast that some supermarkets have awarded them more space already this fall. I mean, this is what's interesting. For once, we're starting to see this stuff stick. And it was easy for the beer, right? It was easy for Target because there's other options. First of all, gone are the days of assuming that Target, Walmart, or even Amazon are just the cheapest option by default. That's almost never the case if you're willing to look around. The way that inflation has hit this country, it's got more people with an eye on that. I just looked at some recent numbers, actually, and according to new reports, excess savings in the United States continue to drop sharply. Total excess savings are now down from $2.3 trillion at their peak to just $200 billion. The bottom 80% of households currently have zero excess savings remaining. This by far is one of the fastest declines in excess saving ever, as a total credit card debt crosses $1 trillion and total household debt crosses $17 trillion. People are feeling the pain of inflation. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Everything out there is costing more. It's making people put more stuff on credit cards. If there's a cheaper option for a beer that helps you forget all that doesn't also get political, people are taking it. And they're trying to come back and say, this one, Yuengling beer fights for retail space as Bud Light declines. Used to be Bud Light-owned retail shelves in the United States, but with declining sales in the wake of partnership with Dylan, those shelves are opening up to other beer brands, and Yuengling wants in on that action. These are polarizing times, and Bud Light remains in a tailspin following its brief but ultimately costly partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. The initial announcement took place back in April, ironically April Fool's Day, and in spite of Anheuser-Busch's desperate efforts to put to bed, the brand has been experiencing serious sales decline ever since then. Bud Light is still stubbornly down around 30% in volume compared to last year. Beer Business Daily publisher Harry Schumacher told Fox News on Friday. That tells me this is quasi-permanent, meaning those customers are just lost forever. As a result of Bud Light's declining sales, retailers are opening up retail shelves that the brand used to own. America's oldest brewery, Yuengling & Son, want their fair share. Yuengling & Son say supermarkets and convenience stores have regularly sold out of its beer since Bud Light's catastrophic alliance with Mulvaney in April. Yuengling sales jumped 22% through September 9th, while Bud Light sales plummeted by 27% in the same 4-week period. This goes back to saying, this is what, they want. They need this interaction. They need this shelf space to actually push up their overall sales, because if it's not there, people are going to buy something else. Acknowledging that Yuengling's toward growth has hit a wall lately, their CEO and fifth-generation owner told the Post that bigger brands have been trying to squeeze in on the shelf space. We just want our fair share of the Bud Light debacle. That's what, when you're Bud Light, you can basically bribe people to give you the shelf space so that you don't let competitors in and you don't let people find something they like better. I mean, it's what I would do if I was Bud Light too, because once you lose that shelf space, you never get it back, unless there's another Bud Light scenario, for example, which is extremely unlikely. I hope that you've enjoyed this new Bud Light update, and that if you're available, if you're open to trying it, we have our fall flavors. We have new flavors of our K-Cups. We have real cacao cocos. Everything's 10% off with promo code FALLCOCO, and I would absolutely love to earn your business today. And if you don't like it, I'm happy to give all of your money back. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.